Kyle Shanahan was asked about Brock Purdy. John Lynch jumped in, talked about what an incredible player Brock Purdy is. I think we already know how John feels about him, but Kyle said he wants Brock to be his quarterback as long as he's the coach of the 49ers, which could be interpreted in a lot of different ways. But what do you think of Kyle Shanahan saying that?
I mean, I think Kyle said exactly what he had to say.
Yeah,
hold on,
pretty much.
Hold on, did I don't know what
I got technical issues.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. Hold on. So, yeah, they said Kyle would be here to stay. I'll tell you this. I think Kyle's saying exactly what he needs to say right now. There's absolutely no way that Kyle needs to be saying anything that alludes to him not being behind Brock Purdy, just for the simple fact that Brock Purdy, he had a bad season. And I think it really helps Kyle. I think it really helps Kyle to be able to put as much praise on Brock as possible, because behind closed doors, I think that he knows that the organization feels that they have Brock exactly where they want him. Right?
Yeah, it doesn't really matter what he says, right? Like Brock says, I want to be here. Kyle says, I want him to be here. Like, great. Like, money talks. So if Kyle and John say, we love you so much, Brock, here's $45 million a year, that might not be the love that Brock Purdy's looking for, right? I might need a little bit more love than that. I might need $15 million a year more love than what you're offering me. So they could both posture like, I want to be here. I want him here. It's just business, and we got to come to an agreement, and it's not personal, and we both understand. But until they come across a number they both agree on, anything could happen. But 100%. It seems like he's going to be here.
100%.
Yeah.
Oh, my camera died.
What happened?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know why.
Wow.
Let's keep it going. I'm working. Sure. Keep it going. I'm working in the background. Let's go.
All right. Yeah, I guess that's my only point. Like, until they actually have the negotiation finished, I'm skeptical, because the market is so incredible. It's $60 million a year, and the Niners don't have to pay it. I guess he'll be back. The Niners don't necessarily have to give him what the market says he's worth. Like, they had to give Brandon Ayuk $30 million a year because he proved on the market that he was worth it. He proved that the New England Patriots would pay it, the Steelers would pay it. So, I don't know. It just seems like the Niners can say as many nice things as they want. It almost feels like the nice compliments are a substitute for the money that they might be shorting him when they finally make the offer.
Definitely.
Well, I don't know.
I mean, my thing is that what is Kyle supposed to say? Honestly, what's he supposed to say? Is he supposed to say, you know what? We finally got a guy that you guys are trying to prop up as a franchise quarterback, and I finally got him exactly where I need him, because you've seen exactly how good or bad he is without all of the people around him. And I'm going to say all of the greatest things that you need to hear about him, because truthfully, behind closed doors, he knows how we feel about him. The jig is up. It's over. And I don't have any reason to sit here and bash the guy who I have squarely back under my thumb now. The legend of Brock Purdy is dead. Good. You've seen what type of quarterback he is. Now can we please get back to giving me all the power where I can put this offense in the best position it can be in? And think about that when you want to give him $60 million.
Also, they're not going to negotiate through the media. Like, there's a lot of things he could say about Brock that I'm guessing he will say to Brock's agent when they actually negotiate. I'm sure there's going to be some hard truths that Parag Marathe probably is the one who delivers. Like, hey, man, let's look at Brock's numbers in the second half this year. Let's talk about Brock's steep decline this season. And that's why we're not going to offer you $60 million a year. So the Niners can always be like, we want Brock. He's just being greedy. And Brock can always be like, I want to be here. They're just being cheap. And we'll see how far apart they really are when this actually starts.
I agree, Grant, 100%. I think that it's like, I don't know. It's like when you're in a position with somebody and you know you got them beat, but the last thing you want to do is be seen gloating, right? So you got to act like you've been there before. You got to keep a straight face. We're not going to lean into what is clearly there because really we won the war. Okay, so let's give them the battle. Let's say, what does it matter how great we say he is and how he wants to be here for the rest of I want him here for the rest of my career.
That doesn't give him extra leverage in the negotiation.
None of this is going to help him. None of it.
It's not like the agent can come to the negotiation table and be like, well, you said this.
Well, you said this.
Right
exactly.
Yeah.
The real negotiation is over. Yeah. It was this season. So
it was the Rams game.
So really, I think the reason why you're hearing Kyle basically be 100% behind him, Kyle even said that he thought Brock was having a great year. He said that on the radio. He said, man, I think Brock's having a phenomenal year. Like, we got our guy. And really, in a way, if you think about it, Jimmy would have been okay if Jimmy would have just understood who he was. That's why they tried to go get Trey. And that's why, because when Jimmy didn't want to play in 2020, that was Jimmy officially feeling like, I'm the quarterback of this team, and I'm hurt, and I don't want to play. And Kyle was looking at Jimmy like, dude, we passed the ball 8 fucking times last year. Do you know who you really are on this offense?
Yeah.
You've got to. Do you know what we paid you to get you out of the way?
Yeah.
You have forgotten who you are and what your true status is on this team. And I think this season kind of blooded in Brock, where it's like, great, man. So look, they still think you're great, but we got an understanding. Do we have an understanding now?
But here's the thing. We don't know that they have an understanding because, you read certain accounts on X, on Twitter. Brock has all kind of arguments in his favor that gas him up, that makes him worth more than Tua and Jordan Love, Dak, or whatever.
I'm going to tell you what goes over that, though, Grant.
Okay.
What supersedes that, Grant, is the building, the locker room.
But hold on. But all I'm saying is that we can see it from the Niners' perspective, and we agree with the Niners' perspective. But there's also a Brock perspective, and I don't necessarily think he's going to see it from the Niners' perspective. I think him and his agent are digging in for a real battle here. And if he even said it in his like, aw shucks, nicey way, wants to get it done before OTA so that he can be here with the team. What is that, a threat? Are you threatening us? What are you trying to say, Brock? So let's say they don't get it done by OTAs, because the Niners have a long pattern of not getting these things done by OTAs, and he holds out. Does that mean the Niners are like, oh, man, we didn't see this coming. We really didn't see this coming. You know what? We just got to sign Aaron Rodgers. It's just for 1 year, though. We still want to sign you, Brock. It's just we never thought you would have held out. We thought our offer was more than fair. You're being strange. This isn't the Brock we know. So we didn't anticipate this, but we just happened to go sign Aaron Rodgers or Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
Let's say Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. I don't believe there's a world where Brock can get in Kyle's doghouse and get out of it, especially when it comes to like negotiations. I really do believe that, even if Brock wanted to kind of play hardball in a sense and say, hey, I want to get this deal done. If I'm not getting paid, I'm not going to be here. Dude, that is not going to go over well with the guys who basically propped you up. Like when Brock first got on this team, he was only a quarterback in name and position only. It was the players around him who were assuring us that this was our guy. They basically built and put the furniture in the mansion before he was big enough to move in. And now that he's there to finally get his deal, I don't think it'd go over well in the locker room with him trying to play hardball at an elite clip, right? And for context, really, the guarantee, the money, the salary money that he gets per year is really inconsequential. It's the money that he gets on the cap. That's what I'm concerned with. Like, how much does he come off the cap? Right? You can pay him what you want, Jed, but how bad does this hurt our cap? That's what I would want to know.
There's also the potential, like, they could say to him, look, Brock, here's our offer. It's a really good offer. You should take it. You could play hardball and try to drag this out, but it's not going to go well for you. It's really not, because you have no leverage in this situation. You're coming off a really down year. We haven't even begun to get into all the different ways we think you messed up. This offer is generous, and you should take it right now. Is there a possibility that he understands that he had the worst contract season imaginable, that he flopped against the Rams, and he's just eager to sign whatever they give him in March or sooner?
I'd lose respect for him if he took it. because then that means that all the stuff that you said about being the real deal and what you believe in yourself, why not bet on yourself? Why not play out the rest of it? If the Niners gave Brock a deal like that, from a player perspective, I would look at him like, oh, so you mid.
Because what would Lamar do? If Lamar would say, "Oh, that's what you think of me? All right, well,
I'll just show up. Yeah, I'll play. I'll bet on myself, and then when I'm out on the open market, I'm gonna make you really pay." So I want to see that side. There is an element to this where you do want to see self-confidence and worth in them. I wouldn't like my quarterback to take that type of deal. Why would the Niners want a quarterback that would take that type of deal?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, you could take the extension now, coming off your worst year yet, and give the Niners essentially a hometown discount.
Right.
Or you could come back next year, bet on yourself, have a really good season with Christian McCaffrey out there, and then go to the negotiation table like at a position of strength, because he's going at a position of weakness and almost saying like, hey, I'm a swell guy. We had some good times. Don't forget him. Whereas George Kittle, they had a lot of good times with George Kittle, but he's coming to the negotiation table coming off a great year. So he actually has strength. I just feels like, again, if Brock were truly an elite quarterback and thought of himself that way, he would have no problem betting on himself and having that confidence that he could do it next year. He could bounce back next year.
Yeah, I believe that, him wanting to get the deal done, even with wow, this just came to me. Even if he does want to get the deal done, the fact that he doesn't want to bet on himself and he's so eager to get it done, even after having the season that he had this year, kind of lets me know that he's a little bit of a fraud himself. It's like, why would if I know I'm elite, think about it. If I'm an elite quarterback, I'm pissed off with this year because I played well below my standard. And I'm even more pissed off because I had the perfect opportunity to do it while all these guys around me who I believe that I've been elevating, they haven't been pulling me along. They were not here. So I could have had a chance to really show what I did. I didn't do that in a lot of important games. And now I'm being disrespected with with a deal that I don't like. Why am I being seen here trying to even go get a deal? I'd be looking at my agent like, dude, I'm betting on myself. I can play way better than what I did this year. Why don't we just run it back next year, get these guys back where we want them, and then go back in there with our pride intact and go get the deal that we deserve? But the fact that Brock wants to get this deal done now after this season, it's almost as if that he's still kind of riding off of what was supposed to be the deal before this season hit, where it's like, oh, hey, guys, you still kind of feeling this elite thing? I'm still your franchise quarterback, right? Really want to have this conversation? I just don't think if Brock was as good as he thinks he is, he would want to have a negotiation right now either. I wouldn't.